Good morning and welcome. I'd like to thank all of you for your partnership with the Morris County Municipal Utilities Authority and your continued support to recycling in Morris County. This meeting will count as one CRP credit, it's a meeting credit, for those who are attending. Please stay on until the end of the meeting to find out how to receive confirmation. Our speakers today, Mike Nunn, who's our Assistant Operations Manager. Mike directly oversees our Curbside Recycling Department. I'm sure most of you have actually met Mike or spoken with him. Also, Chris Vidal, our Curbside Customer Service Coordinator, will also be a speaker today. So Mike is going to be reviewing some of the basic procedures to help us serve your residents more effectively and efficiently. So good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. How's everyone doing? Are we ready? Or I kind of thought we were going to be doing this in the middle of the program, but if you want me to kick this right off.
Yes,
right.
You're first.
All right. So good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Mike Nunn. I'm one of the assistant operations managers here at the MUA. I do oversee the curbside guys down there. We have two supervisors, Mike Simmons and Dave Cole, do a phenomenal job down there, making sure everybody gets out to the town and making sure we make our collections and service, the towns accordingly. So directing your attention to the screen, please direct all your collection problems right to the curbside department. Okay. A lot of times those calls go to the main office. Obviously, the main office is still remote, so not always going to be answering the phone down there. But if you look up on the screen, there's a list of contact information, all right, and some phone numbers. The only thing that I would do is I would actually probably reverse that, probably reach out for Alex first, and then Mike and Dave and myself, only because as I said before, Mike and Dave being supervisors, although sometimes they are out on the road driving, they are operational. I'm out in the field all the time, but I would certainly make note of those numbers and those email addresses for all your misses, your complaints. So go ahead if you haven't already made copies or you need a minute.
Actually, excuse me, Mike.
Yes.
I just want to mention that I'm going to be emailing an actual 3-page document with all of this information on it. So no one has to actually jot down all this information.
All right.
I'll have phone numbers as well as email addresses. And yes, thank you for mentioning that.
Awesome.
Alex McNulty is actually the point of contact for everyone. And she will be happy to assist.
Absolutely. Alex is always willing to jump in. She is at the forefront. She's pretty easy to reach out to. Her contact information, don't hesitate. She could always reach out for Dave and Mike out there in the field. So,
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Don't be late. And listen, you guys do a great job. I know you put it out to your residents. Just the reminder of material to be out curbside no later than 6 a.m. or the night before. I know a lot of folks don't put it out the night before. I know I don't put mine out the night before. I end up picking it up on my neighbor's yard because the bear will come through or whatever. But just make sure our residents, we need to get it out by 6 a.m. Our trucks are in town early. They don't always start in the same locations. All right. So when Mrs. Jones calls you at 9 a.m. and says, well, they missed my recycle, they might not even be on Mrs. Jones's street just yet. All right. I got to be honest with you as far as missed material. Listen, we understand that, sometimes we don't get it out on time, and we shoot that phone call. I have a driver and usually two guys on the back. To say that, 3 sets of eyes missed somebody in particular on any given street, listen, just make sure it's out at 6 a.m. and we certainly appreciate your cooperation, and we'll get all that material cleaned up to the best of our ability. As long as we're still in town, we'll swing back, we'll grab it. If not, we'll be back the next day, obviously. All right. All right. What else do we have? Okay, road closures. Let's go right there. I'm in contact with a lot of the DPW guys, road closers. We get the emails, the girls get the emails, as far as what's going on in town, maintenance of roads, resurfacing, maybe storm drain work. As long as we know ahead of time, we're always willing to, make those adjustments when we can. We'll get into town a little early. If possible, we'll start in that section before, those crews are in actually working, paving, whatever they're doing on the roads. If we can get in there and make those collections, service that area before, the workers get in there to do what they need to do, we're more than happy to do it as long as we know. All right, as long as we know, it's not a problem. All right, and lastly, okay, helpful website information, cancellations and closures. We don't close. We don't close. State of emergency. Listen, we're in work every. Get rid of that. We've been in work every day, right through the height of COVID, right through the hurricanes and the storms. We're there every day. We're going to make every attempt to get into town. We're going to make every attempt to safely collect all your material and get it off the streets. With that being said, when we're asked not to come into town and we're talking to those DPW supervisors first thing in the morning, if not the night before, to make sure that everybody's on that same sheet of music. All right. So as long as we can safely get into town, we do. We'll make those collections, not a problem. There is an instance where we may be asked to stay out of town. The DPW wants to get in there. They want to clean the roads. There might be trees down, lines down. Safety is first and paramount. So, given that scenario, we'll adjust. We'll have a makeup day. We'll come in on a Saturday. We'll make it up the next day if we can. Again, just keep in mind, get to that website, make those phone calls, and make sure everybody's on that same sheet of music. Any questions? Oh, you guys have been great.
Thanks so much, Mike. We really appreciate you joining in with this in the meeting. And also, I just want to mention that the presentation is being recorded, so you can view it again later. If you'd like to ask questions in the chat box, you may do so. Or if you want to email any of us afterwards, you can. And I think Chris has a question in the chat.
Yes, Amalia has a question.
Hi, is it okay if can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I just had a question regarding posting of cancellations. Do you post those by municipality, or do you post it just that you're not collecting that particular day?
I believe that it actually shows which municipality it is. And also there's communication between Mike Nunn and the contact person. So if you're not familiar, Amalia, we have what's called a snow list. Our snow list actually is comprised of the point of contact with each municipal partner. And Mike Nunn, not only will we have this posted on our website, but Mike Nunn communicates with that contact person prior to and during any storms if there is a potential closure or cancellation.
Okay, that's helpful. I'll have to find out who the individual is for Mendham Township because the information doesn't seem to be getting out to residents. Thank you.
Sure, and you can also get back to us and we'll follow up with you also and make sure that we get that person's contact information on our snow list.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Christy has a question about who in Chatham Township is the contact. So we'll
have to get back to her because I don't have that list in front of me. But Yeah, we'll hold on to those questions, Christy. We'll get back to you also. Thank you.
We could probably send it to everybody. Everybody will get the
Actually,
information.
I'm going to ask Alex to update that list. So all of you will be getting an email about it. And that way, if that information has changed from last year, this is a good opportunity to update that. So thank you. I would like to talk about resources. And we have flyers that are available in an electronic format, acceptable and unacceptable. These have been updated for 2022 with new information. The flyers have been provided to Pat O'Dowd of Town Planner for those towns that participate with that program. The updated flyers will also be posted on the MCMUA website in the near future. If you have any questions, you can, please let us know. We're asking you to post the appropriate flyers on your municipal websites and include them in your annual newsletters to residents so that they're aware of changes and updates. Keeping the residents informed is very important. A lot of residents these days do access information via the municipal website. And it's always good to have links to mcmua.com on your municipal websites. Other staff members also in your municipality should direct residents to these flyers because sometimes there are questions that some employees within either your town hall or your DPW, they might not be exactly clear on something. These flyers are a really good resource. In addition, we have a selection of various decals available for use by residents to place on their recycling, trash, and yard waste containers. We can supply those to you so you can make them available to your residents. Some towns put some at their public libraries, others have them at the municipal building. There's no cost to the municipality, and you can visit the link up there to view which decals are available. We're in the process of ordering more decals and expect to have them available by the new year. For those sections in your town that may have trash collection on the same day as recycling collection, it is very important that residents label all of their containers, including those trash cans. It makes it less confusing for collection staff, including those trucks that come around to collect trash. Equally important is to inform residents about proper containers. They should be no larger than 32 gallons with handles and lids. The containers must not exceed 50 pounds in weight. We ask residents to use as many containers as needed. Recyclables must not be put out to the curb in plastic bags. All acceptable recyclables must be loose and reusable containers. The handles make it easier to lift the containers, and lids prevent litter. We don't like to see landscape barrels and carts that exceed the weight limit and are difficult to lift. Containers should be in good condition. Broken containers can hurt someone or fall apart, and then the contents becomes litter all over the neighborhood, which creates yet another problem. For 2022, we're asking you to partner with the Morris County MUA and Community Republic Services as we educate residents about no plastic bags, no plastic film at the curb. We prefer to take an educational standpoint before tagging and leaving behind those setouts in plastic bags or containing plastic bags and film. In the future, we may start tagging or putting stickers on unacceptable setouts and leaving them behind. We appreciate your support in educating residents and hope that you will include this information in your newsletters notifications, and on your municipal websites. So I did notice that a couple of our municipal partners, a couple of you actually have posted this big "Don't Bag Recyclable" sign on your website. And I thank you for being leaders in this and understanding what kind of a problem it is. Plastic bags and film are the biggest problem at Community, according to Eric Gabrielson. So it's very important to get the word out. You'll also notice that some of our trucks have this nice big sign on them also. So we are planning to provide "Don't Bag Recyclables" lawn signs to you in 2022. They are easy. They're easy to use, and they can be placed at your municipal recycling depot, town hall, Main Street. They can be moved around. We also encourage you to take advantage of your electronic message boards. Please put the "No Plastic Bags" message in rotation. I mean, they can, every once in a while, it's a good reminder. And a lot of you move these signs around town. They're not always in the same area. It's really great because drivers do notice them. So sometimes it's difficult for residents, and there is confusion because unfortunately manufacturers of plastic bags advertise that recyclables can be placed in plastic bags, clear plastic bags, and put out to the curb. This is greenwashing. As you are all aware, plastic bags create havoc at the sorting facility, the Materials Recovery Facility, or MRF. Plastic bags, plastic film, along with other tanglers like hangers and cords, hoses, they get caught up in the equipment, and it causes downtime. And, the employees have to unfortunately cut these objects out of the screens. It's just a big mess. So we appreciate you getting the word out about this and starting this education campaign. Proper preparation of recyclables is extremely important. Here's an example of improperly prepared recyclables. Yes, this is from one of our curbside towns, but unfortunately, it's what we find in all of our curbside towns. I realize that recycling may not be a priority for some residents. Their main goal is to get the items to the curb, and then they expect everything to be gone by the end of the day. Here you can see a lot of plastic bags. The small container actually has one of our decals on it, but certainly not helping. The cardboard is just all over the place. On a windy day, the cardboard boxes become litter. And, as you can see, there are a lot of issues here. Cardboard boxes must be in containers or stacked into a box no larger than 36 inches by 36 inches. And recyclables must be loose and reusable containers, not in plastic bags and then inside containers. So the other thing I'd like to bring your attention to are some of these items are some of these items are not acceptable, and this is something new for 2022. While the plastic bags and the plastic film, we've been advertising for quite some time. Now we also are going to have to talk about these other things that are unacceptable. The shredded paper currently being collected in clear plastic bags is problematic. The bags burst inside the compactor trucks, and much of the shredded paper is lost. The shredded paper that makes it to the facility often ends up with the glass, and that creates issues. Loose shredded paper is uncontrollable, and it creates litter. So we will no longer accept shredded paper in 2022. And I know this will be a learning curve and it will take time for this transition. There are many options now for shredded paper, as most towns hold shredding events, and we encourage residents to only shred confidential information, as shredding paper compromises the fibers. Also, I want to let you know there's a full list of shredding companies available on MCMUA.com. The other problem that we're having, and this will no longer be acceptable, is paint cans and pressurized and aerosol cans. So pressurized and aerosol cans may be flammable or combustible. Those that are empty should be disposed of in the trash. Those containing household hazardous materials are to be taken to the household hazardous waste facility, and an appointment must be scheduled in advance. Here's a really big problem. So, not sure how many of you have done some inspections within your municipalities, and I know some of you have. I know, Scott, you've been out with some of our staff doing inspections. Christy, you've done inspections. Patty, you've done inspections. Pizza boxes. Okay, pizza boxes. Unfortunately, most residents put the entire pizza box in their recycling containers with the crust, with the crumbs, with the waxy liners, and this part right here with all of that food residue on the pizza box. Therefore, we no longer are accepting pizza boxes. If you happen to get phone calls from residents who say, you know what, why did the MUA change this rule? I want to recycle, the clean part. Okay, Mrs. P. Jones over there in Morris Plains, she knows. She actually rips this part of the pizza box off. She only recycles the clean portion. She never puts this part in her bin. Never, never, never. Foam, styrofoam, expanded polystyrene are not acceptable. They've never been acceptable in our program. But unfortunately, there is a lot of packaging out there that has combinations. Some is just plain block styrofoam, some is peanuts, some is actually stuck onto the cardboard, and it's really difficult to remove. But all of this foam is not acceptable. When we see the recycling symbol, we must follow the guidelines. Number 6 plastics or number 6 polystyrene is not acceptable in the recycling stream. This is also, this right here is also another example I'm going to show you. It comes from one of those meal kits that gets mailed. And unfortunately, we see the recycling sign on it. We get all excited. It says that it's plant-based material. We look inside and we see all this foam stuff. Okay, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Once again, a lot of greenwashing, and it's so confusing to residents. That's the sad part. I also urge you, if you are able to get out, and hopefully by next year things will be a little bit better. If you're able to get out to any kind of fairs or outdoor events and actually touch base with your residents, bring some samples of these items and just have a chit chat with your residents. Have them ask questions, show them, this is not acceptable. Why? Why did you change this rule? Just explain and have a talk with them. It really helps, because then those residents will hopefully talk to their neighbors, and they will get the word out also. Okay, and now I'm going to stop, and I invite Chris Vidal to talk about recycling depots and acceptable recyclables. Chris?
Everybody. Hi, thank you, Liz. Chris Bidell. I'm in the customer service and curbside support. So I want to talk to all the towns that have recycling depots. The MUA will be supplying your recycling depot with new acceptable and unacceptable recycling signs. So they will be coming. They'll have all the information that Liz just shared with you. Also, don't bag recycling signs, the big red ones. We'll get those to you. But please place them where the residents can see and read them. Place them near the roll-offs and compactors. Also, update your depot staff about the changes. We will all want to educate residents before we start our tagging and leaving program. We're going to do the carrot before the stick. So regarding roll-offs, please cover them. If you need a pull and your roll-off is dripping wet, if possible, please wait a day or so until the contents dry out to avoid contamination costs. Republic has started charging for contamination. So contamination includes excessive moisture, ice, or snow content. And we'll have to pass that contamination and wet load charge along to you. And any transfer station tipping fees, which are $101.50 a ton. So if any towns need information about covers for their roll-offs, please let me know. You can email me later and I'll get back to you. And here's a picture Liz just put up of some of the wet content that came into Republic, and you can actually see how the corrugated cardboard is sopping wet. So next slide, please. So now I want to talk about what is acceptable in our program. Liz told you Liz told you about all the stuff that we don't want. So briefly, single stream recycling means bottles and cans and paper and cardboard all go into one container. Dual stream recycling means that bottles and cans go into one bin and corrugated and paper go into another, both perfectly fine. So acceptable materials include plastic bottles and containers coded 1, 2, and 5. Please remind the residents to take a look at the bottom or near the bottom of a bottle to see the plastic code number. If there's no code number on the plastic container, it's better to throw it away. So please remove the lids. So this will ensure that all the bottles are empty. You can place the plastic lids that are larger than 3 inches in diameter and coded a 1, 2, or 5 are acceptable in our program. Please throw away the small caps, and then the foil on a yogurt container or on a cottage cheese container, unacceptable. So please throw that away. Liz, could you go to the next slide, please? Aluminum, tin, and steel cans must be empty, clean, and dry. And I'm going to say that a million times, but please remove and recycle the metal lids and those pull tops. Also acceptable are clean aluminum pie plates, clean aluminum trays, and clean aluminum foil. Next slide, please. So glass jars and bottles are mandated to be recycled. So they can be clear or colored. If they have a metal lid, it should be removed and can be recycled in your recycling bin. Again, these containers must be empty, clean, and dry. Next slide, please. Corrugated cardboard and paper must be recycled. Examples are newspapers, magazines, junk mail, paper towel cores, tissue boxes, construction paper, envelopes, catalogs. I think you all know that. If paper tears, it's acceptable. If it is waxy or laminated, it is not. And again, I'm going back to the pizza boxes. If you take the clean top off a pizza box, it's no longer a pizza box. It's a piece of cardboard. Totally acceptable. Next slide, please. And as we all know, with so many residents doing internet shopping, there are a lot of cardboard boxes being delivered to homes. Before they are put to the curb, all of their contents should be removed. Excuse me. That includes plastic wrap, packing pillows, foam, peanuts. Liz just showed you an example of some kind of odd material. Please don't, that's not acceptable. Boxes should be flattened and stacked one inside another. So also, if you have extra large boxes, they should be flattened and stacked next to the recycling containers. Nothing should be bigger than 36 inches by 36 inches. Again, reminder, inside packing materials that are not paper or cardboard should not go into the recycling bin. Next slide, please. Other acceptable material includes aseptic containers. So those are used for your soup and your juices, and gable top milk bottles, milk containers, frozen food boxes, and ice cream containers. And my last word on the subject is everything must be empty, clean, and dry. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chris. So here is the contact information for Chris and I. And are there any questions in the chat, or go ahead, Chris.
Robin would like to know, is there anywhere to recycle books? Apparently they get a lot of questions on that subject.
Yeah, so just so you're aware, soft cover books are acceptable, such as workbooks, and they're, similar things like catalogs are all acceptable. The hardcover books are not acceptable in the recycling stream. There is actually we can send it out after the meeting, Chris. We can send out the link for our folks over there at, oh my gosh.
New Legacy.
New Legacy, excuse me. New Legacy does have drop-off locations throughout the county for hardcover books. I think there are some specifications, right, Chris? There has to be an ISBN number and so forth and so on. Robin, I'll get that information to you. There's a link. I'll send you the link to our website. Actually, we'll just send it to everyone on the meeting, just as an update. Any other questions, Chris?
I don't see it. Amalia says, she has a tough question. A resident asked her what % of recycling that's put out on the curb is actually recycled. Do you have data on that?
Well, I have to say that we are extremely fortunate to partner with Community Republic Services. I know that recently I got a call from my sister who was all upset because she read something about, I don't know, something like only 10% of what's put out to the curb gets recycled. That is not so in our recycling program. Actually, everything that gets put out to the curb for recycling that the MUA trucks pick up is taken to Republic Community, and which is a MRF, a materials recovery facility, and it is processed and goes through this entire process where residue, which is unacceptable materials, are removed from the stream. And according to our most recent studies that we did, we've done several studies, our residue rate is very low. So I believe the last one came in at about 4%. So what is not being recycled is basically the unacceptable items. All of the acceptable items in our program are sent to market and they are recycled. And I'm very pleased about that. We deal with a very reputable Republic Services. Very happy that we do. So put your minds at ease. It's getting recycled. Any other questions?
Well, everybody can call us or email us.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, if you have curbside issues, the best point of contact is Alex. She'll be happy to help you. I'd like to thank all of you, not only for your assistance, but your support with educating residents to recycle right. And, if you have any comments about the meeting, once again, it is being recorded. If you have any comments about the meeting, or if you feel that this meeting was informative and you like a shorter format, we'd love to hear from you. It didn't take too much time out of your day, but it certainly gave us the opportunity to provide an update, not just email you, 3 pages, which I still will do, but kind of have, a meeting about it. Thank you so much to everyone. Thanks for recycling right. Have a good day and be well. Thank you.